baby! Thank you all for tuning in, everybody. This is actually the first episode of Talking Words with Wayman. I am Matt Wayman. Here with me, a special guest today, Mr. Jeff Koehn.
The Koehn Meister, the Koehn head.
He wrote down all those names. I was supposed to say them, but he came in with them. No, you're fine. We're just talking words. You know what I mean? That's all we're about. I appreciate you coming out. This is a brand new one we're doing completely with. I'm bringing on guests that are the creatives. Jeff is a man of many talents. He is he's a comedian, but I think but what I brought him on for was first off because he's a great guy. I mean, you're fantastic,
thanks, man.
Good guy.
You as well, man.
And also because you make your living off painting.
That's right.
You're a fine art painter. I looked you up a little bit on the internet. I did some Googling. I did a little Google. Google actually is the first sponsor of this podcast.
Sweet.
What happened was I was like, will you sponsor us? And I paid them $100, and now there's a sponsor. So I think that's how sponsoring works.
I think so, yeah. That's what I've heard, yeah.
I appreciate it.
Nobody's ever sponsored me except like Doc Johnson.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
You got that Doc Johnson sponsorship?
I have,
That DJ one's tough to come by. I wish one of these days.
It is, but you actually have to use the product. You know, some guys, they're like, well, I use this tooth cream or whatever.
Yeah.
But they don't.
They don't.
I actually use Doc Johnson products since
Shaquille
I was like
O'Neal
17.
does not use the heat packs. You know?
Oh, no kidding.
He's a genie. You know what I mean? He can heal himself. He was in Kazam. So,
wow. Okay, I forgot about
getting
that.
off topic immediately. It always goes to Shaquille O'Neal stuff somehow. You always know what to do. But the first thing I brought up, a bunch of galleries that you're into. So how about we just do we do short podcasts. These are 15-minute and under podcasts. So just give the cliff notes of how you came up.
Well, let's see. Oh, man. Okay. Cliff Notes. Started drawing with assorted utensils since kindergarten. In fact, I remember my first drawing was in a coloring book with a yellow crayon, and I couldn't stay in the lines, and then my brother said, hey, wow, I like your abstract art. That's really cool. Okay, I got to write that down.
He's a hip little kid, yeah.
He was, yeah. He knew some shit, you know. But, that inspired me because he's my big brother. I'm like, wow, I did something cool that my big brother's into.
Yeah.
So I just, that was my escape. I mean, I got, I think my cumulative grade point average graduating high school was 0.7. Because math, no, I want to doodle and, And I would just doodle ridiculous things, too. They weren't always the artistic stuff. Sometimes it was just, what would an underground, dream mansion look like,
Yeah. Did you find it as being encouraged in your high school? I mean, even though you had a low grade point average, was there people that were,
In fact, even from first grade, my first through third grade teacher, Mrs. Berg, Rosemary Berg, shout out to Rosemary.
On Twitter, probably somewhere. Yep. She's got a LinkedIn, I'm sure.
She's 97, but she's on there. She's rocking it. I've seen her webcam.
She's making money off that webcam. She's a dirty old lady.
She's a dirty old
woman. We love her so much.
Oh, my God. Okay. But, yeah, so she encouraged me even from that early age, and and that's a huge thing, you having important people, adults, tell you, hey, you got talent there. And
of course.
You start to believe it. And so then, and then high school it grew, and I learned how to learn some techniques and some tools in the toolbox. And but I always had this thing, I guess, where all through college and after that, I don't know, I kind of sold myself short. I didn't think that I could actually make a real living at that. Yeah,
because you came from the place where you had won. I know you'd won an award in college, right?
Yeah, this little thing called the Creative Genie Award.
Nice.
And it was this illustration. I mean, it's fine art, but kind of illustrative. And it was this. I told you about my drum corps experience. This was our drum line from 1994, and I did this, pretty cool rendering of it.
Nice.
They loved it, and they gave me that award.
Yeah, but then you didn't get into actually making a living off it until several years after?
Yeah, about the end of 2002, got discovered by this rep who, or dealer, if you will.
Nice.
And
how does that process happen?
So, what they'll do is they'll say, okay, hey, we love this color palette in these paintings that you're doing, and so can you do a landscape in that palette, and then I'll do it, and they say, "Oh, that's great. Here's a check for that, and can you do like 5 or 6 more?" And then they keep doing like calling orders in for me.
So at that point, it's basically like a commission-based type-based thing where they know that they can sell the landscapes probably, or
there's always like a risk, but they kind of know they've been doing it on the sales end for so long. They kind of know what's going to hit and what doesn't.
Who's buying them?
Yeah, they have clientele that are kind of a lot of galleries that are kind of in the Chicago, Milwaukee, Madison, Minneapolis, that sort of corridor is where a lot of them sell.
How many galleries are you in currently?
Oh, well, let's see. I would have to guess. Probably like nationwide 20 or 30.
Oh, that's awesome.
There. Yeah,
that's
it's a
cool.
lot, yeah. But I've been with them since, like I said, the late 2002, so it's been building, you know.
That's pretty insane just to know that the pieces that you create do, you know, live on their own in so many places around this country.
That is a trip, you know. Like I got an email from someone who, you know, I never meet the end customers. Like I know what galleries they go into.
You haven't met Nancy and Thomas Richmond?
Not yet. They've called me all the time consistently.
Stop calling.
Yeah, it's getting kind of weird. Well, anyway, that's a different story. But no, like one time I got an email from this woman, Jennifer, out in, Monterey, California. And she's like, "Oh, my God, I just bought one of your pieces." I'm like, "Oh, which one?" And she emailed me the one. I'm like, "Holy crap, I remember that." And so then she took a picture of it up on her wall in her house.
That's fantastic.
That was awesome.
Yeah, and do you remember what you name each piece, or is it more just like you remember painting that piece?
Yeah, I remember the painting, the process, what it looks like. And usually, like, with my rep, first of all, there's, like, really no time to think up a title for him.
Yeah.
So usually we just trust the gallery to.
He spitfired on him.
Yeah.
They probably know. I mean, it is a collaborative relationship with the dealer, I'm sure. And how many paintings do you produce a year? Would you say?
Oh, let's see. I'd say probably a couple hundred a year.
That's awesome.
Because like when it's going good, there's definitely peak times during the year where it's kind of a sales season.
That's insane.
Like fall and spring are like really hot.
Yeah, because I look at your paintings, I'm like, those seem incredibly time consuming.
Yeah, but I've learned how to paint fast and how to I do a lot of things in my underpainting which are designed to imply detail without actually being detail.
Just to save time, but also
But not just to save time. It has a double function too. It's like people I found that with art, there's something about if you leave things just a little bit mysterious and loose, as it were, then it allows their brain to kind of fill in the gaps. And they participate.
That's fantastic.
You know, like maybe on a subconscious level, but you can really see it. I'll go to galleries just to look at other artists, and there's a local artist named Michelle Torres who's like famous. She's blown up like for decades, and she just does these really they have a degree of realism, but they're just really bright colors and expressive. And people are just hypnotized by it.
You're drawn in as opposed to just kind of. I think there are those paintings too where you just kind of they don't draw you in, and you just kind of they're on a surface level, and you can just kind of walk by and dismiss them. Yeah,
like I used to, where I really, learned my chops as an artist was I wanted to learn how to. Oh man, if I could draw and paint like photorealistically, So that was my thing. It was very achievement based, but not expressive.
Yeah.
And so people would look at my stuff and go, "Wow, you drew that or you painted that? That's impressive. Okay, so what's over here? Let's get a drink." They kind of tune it out because it's not really saying anything.
Which is the argument of form and emotion behind what it wins out a lot of the times, because you do see artists probably with that some people would consider less skilled or less.
Oh yeah.
Actually be able to make a living just because it is, very heavily emotion based, I feel as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Some of the best artists, some of the most famous artists it's just raw emotion, like Jackson Pollock, I feel was that way,
Yeah. I mean, if anybody, especially at the time and, the creation behind those things and just the emotion of every line that went into what he did. And I saw, there was a doc about another guy that was Pollock-esque, and he was like I don't know if you saw that documentary, but
what's it called?
I forget what it's called. We'll put a link to it or something on there. Yeah. But he was basically just discovered by this guy that owned an antique store, but he was a really good painter, and he finally got into galleries and stuff like that up in New York. But
I love stories like that.
Yeah, and that you know that it can still happen these days, and I don't think everybody thinks, overnight success, and I think it's like, no, this dude, I've been doing that for like 15, 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
And just had, hundreds and hundreds of paintings.
Yep. And people do, it can happen, it's rare, overnight successes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, most of the time it is you have to put yourself out there. You can't just hey, I'll just kind of keep this one painting in the back of my garage and I'll get discovered magically.
No,
not going to happen.
But I mean, I think, I don't know, for me at least, it's I dabble in doing a little bit of art, but it's more just like you just do it because you want to do it, and it's because it's fun to create, not necessarily. I mean, obviously, if it gets to the point where you can make money off something, and I mean, the dream, that you are living is making all the money off, the art. I'm sure it's tough at times. I'm sure it's really hard a lot of the time.
It is, but I have to admit,
it is a good time.
It's my own damn fault. Like I'm selling enough paintings where I should have no debt, and but I just, oh God, like I don't know if it's my ADD type brain, but money, I just don't even know where it goes. Like I have a girlfriend now who's like, okay, I'm gonna teach you how to budget, and I'm like,
you're like, what is
okay.
that? A what?
Budget? That's a trigger word. I'm getting post-traumatic stress disorder hearing that word budgeting and discipline. But no, I mean I think if I could learn how to keep the money that I make, God, I could have even more freedom to do more of this, the comedy thing as well.
And the comedy thing, I mean, is like a different outlet, but I think a lot on the same level as well. For some of the reasons I love art is because you don't get immediate feedback. Or, I mean, you do, I think, from your dealer and stuff, but I think a lot of times for me, at least, art is like nobody's going to say one thing one way or the other, and then comedy is like they're going to let me know within 5 seconds if it's funny or not. It's the extreme immediate feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to tie those two together when I mentioned the woman out in California. That's like an extremely delayed laugh is what that kind of felt like. It's like, oh my God, oh, you got it in your apartment and you love it. That's great. Oh my God. And it's that same kind of adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you had to, what would that be in the drug world? Like a hit of something that's instant,
something good.
Like crack, instant high versus
maybe a good knife hit of cocaine, maybe a maybe a concert hall bathroom, little smoking crack in there. Whatever's your fancy.
We're outside El Chorrito. I won't mention names, but we know
there's something happens out there. The police need to know.
Yes, go to the corner of I don't know.
But that's cool too, just to know that it has traveled so far as well, and that if somebody had saw it and was like, I have to have this, because with art, I think it's a luxury buy a lot of the time. So it's like when somebody buys something, it's because they really, really, really like it and almost can't not have it.
Yeah, and that's such a weird thing to me because
I never buy it.
Because I can't afford art. I'll right click and then go print it off at Kinko's or something, frame it.
I'll paint it.
But I don't live on that other side. Looking this way toward the artist, I'm the artist going out that way, and it's like, for me, it's almost like people are still buying art, like, especially when the economy kind of looks weird. I'm like, this is completely an unneeded thing.
People are ridiculous. People stop buying art.
Yeah, come on. There's
if there's one thing you take from this podcast today,
don't buy art. Buy diapers for your kid or whatever.
Yeah, I think but that's when I think it buys into that thing of it just being something that people have to have, or that people, at least there is going to be some semblance of a retainment of investment, I guess, for a lot of people, especially in fine art, from dealers, from certified dealers.
I've heard a couple of different people say, like my 1 minute, okay, yeah, my friend Ray, he puts it this way that you have this thing that becomes an heirloom, and there's memories attached to it and all that kind of stuff. So it's far more than just like going out and spending the same grand on like a TV or something.
Oh, of course. It is something that like you can look at for a long time and know that where you got it and the experience that you had when you bought it, saw it at that gallery, knew you had to have it.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I mean, I think it's great that people are, still buying art, because if it wasn't, we wouldn't be doing this podcast right now.
Yeah. Amen.
Making that living. This has been part 1 of Talking Words with Wayne. We're going to be right back, probably a couple days after release. But right now, we're going to be right back with a little part 2 action with my special guest and sweet baby boy number 1, Jeff Koehn. Thank you all for listening.